Hello. In this video demonstration I'm going to show you how step access field works. In general, step access is a field which will allow you to grant access to series of the articles step by step on a time-based frame or manually. You will understand it much better after I'm going to show you how it works. I'm going to type, and I've created a special type called lessons. I've added two fields there. It's a text area for simple text and the step access. The first group of the parameters is a form control. It allows you to choose how to enter the parent article. So I've chosen checkbox because it's the most convenient way to me. When you create series of lessons, tutorials, you always indicate what's the parent articles. It means what article have to be learned or have to be approved in order to get access to the next article or to the current article. And this is the way how we choose it. So I choose checkbox as I've said already, and there are two modes how we do activate the access. It's manually or automatic. When we choose manually, so we set who can manually approve that this or that user already passed this lesson and can move to the other lesson, to the next one. And in auto mode we have to set how many days have to pass before user can get access to the next article. There are a number of other useful parameters. For example, this text, if the article is opened, you can also use HTML here. You can insert image tag and show beautiful, nice icon that article is opened or article is closed. Article is closed here, of course. And also error messages. These messages are most important one. So these messages will lead your user through lessons, and they will explain what they ought to do next, and they will explain what your users are expected to do next. So please check those messages, that these messages should be very informative. So I leave it like this. And also, very important one, it's integrated with Emerald. It means you can sell this lesson series based on the subscription. So you can limit that only subscribed user can access these lessons. So I'll save this field as it is now, and let me demonstrate how it works. Let's start and create the first lesson. You can see that the step access field doesn't show anything. That's because there is no articles at all, so I cannot choose the parent article because there is no articles at all. I'll save this article, and these lessons become first lesson because this lesson doesn't have a parent article. So now I start at second lesson, and you can see that now I can choose the parent lesson. I mean, user have to finish the first lesson before he can move to the lesson number 2. I'll save it, and I'll add another lesson just to show you that now I see these 2 lessons. So, and of course I want user to finish lesson number 2 before he can proceed to the lesson number 3. I've created 3 lessons, 1, 2, 3, and I have this special button to approve user because I've set it up everything that it's manual approval. Here in another browser, I'm logged in as the other user. So, and I can see these 3 lessons. And you can see that already here I can see that this article is closed and this article is closed, but this article is opened. This article is open because it's a first lesson. So if I access this lesson, I can access this lesson. But if I try to access lesson number 3, for example, it will tell me that you have to first finish the lesson number 2. So I go to lesson number 2, it say me because you didn't even finish lesson number 1, so I go to lesson number 1. So finally I am in lesson number 1. Now let's assume that your customer have learned your lesson, downloaded all the materials and sent you back all his homework, you've checked it, and you want to grant access to this user to the next lesson. You go to your website, you click approve. You choose the user, in this case it's a test user, you click the test, so you get confirmation message. Now test user, when he goes to list of the lessons, he can already see that the lesson number 2 is opened already for him, and he can access the lesson number 2. The same happens when you set auto access mode, but the only difference is it's activated automatically by time. For example, you have 7 days as a time frame for access from one lesson to another. And user have accessed lesson number 1, so it means in 7 days he will be able to access lesson number 2. And in another 7 days he will be able to access lesson number 3. But even if he accessed lesson number 2, for example, in 20 days, he will be able to access lesson number 3 only in 7 days after he accessed lesson number 2. So the counter is actually resetted every time he accessed the new lesson. So it starts 7 days from last access of the parent lesson. So this is how it works, and it allows you to create any type of educational material. And if you know that Cobalt already can do with subscriptions and all this stuff, this is just the final addition to all stuff we already have. And with this one, you can do now everything. So you are welcome, use it. See you next time.